What is up, guys? Tyler here from TheRiseHunt. I got Nick Kohili coming up tonight in the Rise studio. We're going to record our 7th episode of our videocast series. So, super excited. Check it out.
All right. What are you going to say? It's so funny.
Nothing. There's never anything funny.
What is up, guys? This is our 7th episode of our videocast series here on YouTube. And we've kind of been slacking a little bit, getting some videos out.
Yeah, we've been busy. We'll
Yeah.
say. We'll use that excuse at least.
For sure. So we haven't got a video cast out in probably 2-3 weeks. I think the last one we did, you and Alex were, I don't know, what was going on then? I'm trying to think what we talked about in the last one.
I think we were talking about a little bit of Kentucky food plots and getting everything, kind of that last little minute of grind, I think, is what we're basing on. But
Yeah.
now we're going to be talking about hunting here pretty quick.
For sure, man. Season just closed in on us pretty quick. Definitely getting excited to get in the woods. I know you're itching this weekend, opening day in Kentucky.
Yes, cannot wait to finally be in a tree. Be filming, but regardless, gonna be in a tree. It's gonna be hot, but I don't care. It's gonna feel so good.
That's crazy, man. That's I'm kind of new to hunting early season. Normally my season opens October 1st, so yours opening the first. Is it the first weekend in September? Is that what?
Yes, first Saturday of September is how it always falls down in Kentucky. So
Cool.
I'll be down there. Alex is gonna be down there. I think he's just gonna hunt Saturday down at his place. But both me and him are kind of in the same situation. We're just really haven't found that deer that we want to go after quite yet. The deer haven't been moving at all. It's still summertime. It's hot down there. But I was looking back at some of the pictures from last year, and really the same thing last year until about the first week in September. They start showing up, and cross my fingers that hopefully one shows up these next couple of days before we go down there. But either way, we got a real good one showing up for Kyle, and it'll be fun. Hopefully that one will come in. He's been pretty regular, so it'll be fun to go down there film with him at least.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's exciting. I know Alex has been kind of biting his fingernails a little bit, not having a shooter show up on his new Kentucky property this year, and that could be nerve-wracking, kind of going into a new property, and, you're praying you get a shooter on camera, and you're trying to kill mature deer, so seeing those 5.5-year-old deer, it's not that common, and it's hard to get pictures of them. It's hard to, and it's also hard to have the motivation to go put all that work into the property and hang all your stands, do all your stuff, and just there's no big bucks showing up on camera, and you just kind of...
Yeah, it takes the wind out of your sail for sure. But
Yeah.
Alex is, last year the same thing at his Ohio property. Really, it's real nerve wracking coming into season because you don't know and you just sit there and pray and hope. But it ended up working out for him last year, and I got no doubt that's gonna work out for him again this year. And like I said, just being down there the last couple of years myself, I've noticed the same thing. And just a matter of time before they start showing up. And I'm still waiting for Coco to show up and. Gonna try to be patient and hold out for him if he does, and hopefully he'll show up sooner or later. But
for sure, we talked about Coco a little bit in the last, I don't know, a couple video casts ago. We kind of mentioned it, but it's a buck you've been hunting for, I don't know, 3.5 years or even longer. You have his sheds every single year.
3 years of sheds.
3 years of sheds.
Yeah, he ghosted me last year, and then somehow I ended up finding his sheds again this year. So he's still alive as far as I know, and I just have that little bit of hope that he's gonna show back up again. And you never know what's gonna happen down there. We did pretty much an overload on the property with food this year, so I'm really hoping that's gonna be the key ticket. Just need him to show up that one time, and hopefully that'll be all it takes is for him to keep coming back. Hopefully, so.
Right. And like you said, you found his sheds, but now we're into September, still no trail camera photos of him. So that kind of falls back on what we were talking about a few video casts ago, that we become so reliant on trail cameras and the intel that they provide, and you're praying those big bucks show up on camera, but sometimes they don't, and you just got to keep pushing forward and know that they can come through. They can live on your property and evade your cameras and still be there. Like, you have his sheds, he's alive.
Yeah.
You don't have a picture of him, but he's alive. So
yeah, it's tough. I mean, because you're trying to play that borderline, especially during the season, the borderline putting too much pressure, but then also trying to be there when they actually do show up. So it's a tough, dice to throw, but it's just something you gotta try to play smart as you can and hope that you're there at the right time. And sometimes you are, sometimes you're not.
Right. It's one of those things that it's such a useful tool for people to use, trail cameras and stuff. But if you're hunting solely off your trail cameras, it's it's going to negatively impact you. And if you're not seeing those shooter bucks and you're like, well, they're not there, I'm not going to go hunt. Well, they're there. And that one time you slip up and get a picture of them, you're just going to wish you were there then.
Yeah, exactly. You're already a step too late at that point.
Exactly. You listen to these guys like, Mark Drury and I don't know, all these guys that talk about annual trail cam intel and not so much seasonal trail cam intel. And basically what that means is all these cameras, all this scouting that they're doing right now isn't even for this season.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. That's next level. Like they're running a trail camera
planning 2 years ahead of time.
Planning 2 years ahead of time. That's hard work right there. And that's just being organized enough to know this buck slipped up on this date in this weather 2 years ago. He might do it again 1 year from now, or it's just a different way of thinking. It's crazy because the common misconception of a trail camera is I'm going to go put a trail camera out and see what bucks are there. Well, you got a picture of him and now he's not there no more.
Yeah, it's funny you actually say that too, because like Coco, the first year we didn't even know he existed, and then all of a sudden, boom, there he was that night. And then he was just there. He was there nonstop. And then last year, I got a couple pictures of him. Like I think it was like 2 or 3 times last summer, and then disappeared on me. And then same weekend, there he was again.
Yeah.
So, and actually, this weekend would be the same weekend that he's been showing up.
So you're going to be down there.
I'm gonna be down there, but I'll have my bow. I'm not counting on him showing up, but
right.
They're creatures of habit sometimes, and it's a possibility he might.
Yeah.
You never know.
He could slip up for sure. And I guess the little piece of advice I would give to somebody there is just focus in on those dates that you typically see a big mature buck, like for example, the first weekend in September. If he's did it, in the years past, I would say the odds of him doing that again is pretty good. You know what I mean? And not so much worry about cameras and trail cam data from this season, but what you've learned in previous years. That's why you're going to go down there this weekend.
Yeah.
Because previous years you've seen him or seen big bucks down there in that weekend.
Yeah, it's like I said, my main goal this weekend is to film Kyle shoot a deer. That's been pretty regular, but
yeah.
I was going to go down there regardless, just because of that sole reasoning.
Yeah.
It's 2 years in a row he's been there on that date, between the 7th and 10th. He'll show up for those couple days, and then, we're actually open on the 7th this year. So
right.
Hoping that, hopefully he can be there. I don't know what's going to happen, but...
Right. Hopefully Kyle can shoot that buck. That's a pretty good one on camera.
Yeah, he's a good one. He showed up last year and, kept close tab on him. He was, a little bit younger. Figured he was probably 2-year-old last year, but, 11.2-year-old, that's,
sweet genes.
Yeah. So I was kind of excited to see what he did this year, and he grew, and Kyle's more than happy.
Yeah.
And, if he's going to be happy with it, I'll be, I'll be ecstatic for him. So... hopefully it can all come together and we can start the season off great down there, and they'll just get the ball rolling for the whole season, I think.
Definitely. We that's something we've been itching to do, and that's one of the reasons we did this video cast series through the off season, is because we do our segment series during the year. We put out 7 segments bi-weekly, through the entire hunting season. We try to get them out to the viewers as quickly as possible. So our mindset and our thought process behind this video cast series was, let's put some videos out in the off season. Let's keep people up to date with what we're doing. Let's talk about some tactics of deer hunting and all that type of stuff. And I don't think it, blew huge and turned out like incredible, but no. I think it did what we wanted it to do, and I think people enjoyed watching it. And
yeah, I think it's more so just a way to kind of get our face out there, get our personalities out there. Get you guys to be able to see us more than just, we're in a tree hunting, type thing. And we all live normal lives, all work, normal jobs like everyone else, and we just squeeze everything in as much as we can and try to enjoy it as much as we can too, just like everyone. But
yeah, it was pretty cool that we kind of went into this with no expectations of what this could turn into or what it's going to be, and it ended up being exactly 7 video casts that we did. And
we didn't even plan that.
We didn't even plan that, but seven video casts. If we do them, every couple weeks or however that worked out, we were going to do them every Monday initially, and there would have been a lot more. But we all live an hour plus apart, so driving and meeting up, and that's pretty tough. But for us to put 7 video casts out, and we're about to start putting our segments out this year. So our first segment is scheduled to drop October 2nd. And that's primarily going to be early season hunting. A lot of that's going to be you in Kentucky.
Me in Kentucky, Alex in Kentucky. You got a youth hunt, I know that.
Yep.
Also, we'll be making a trip to Missouri sometime in that time frame. So
Yep.
fingers crossed we'll have plenty of footage for it. But
For sure, there's a little bit of pressure on us for the most part because we've been amping up this segment series and we're launching it earlier than we did last year, actually by like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's kind of reliant on not necessarily us being successful, but events happening in those dates for it to be amusing for people to watch. Because if we all just go out and get skunked and have bad hunts, like that's not going to make it that good. So we got the pressure on us to get out there, get in front of big deer, try to get some deer killed in this first segment. That's the goal.
Hopefully, fingers crossed. Hopefully, someone can put them down, and there'll be enough of us out, be putting enough time to where someone can. You know, regardless, hopefully, at least get the youth hunt one done. No.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. So this upcoming weekend, you're heading down to Kentucky. I have Ryan Skornica's wedding this weekend. He planned it early, so I'm heading to Ryan's wedding.
Hopefully it's not for next time, but to do it earlier than that.
Yeah, for sure. So this weekend's the wedding. Next weekend is youth season, and the following weekend from that, we're heading down to Missouri.
Yeah,
we're gonna head down on a Thursday, I think Thursday night or something.
Yeah, Thursday night we'll go down there, hunt for 2 days, and what's your game plan you're thinking when you're down there?
I don't know. I think I'm not planning on hunting any mornings. I think I'm gonna try to do less intrusive type hunting just because it's early season and there's still crops in the field. So I'm going to try my best to hunt the wind, sneak in, and just hunt evenings. I think that's kind of my plan.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm kind of tossing the idea around of doing like an observation set, even hanging a stand for like observation or even maybe even just parking my truck, pulling into the property, pulling into the beans and parking my truck really far away with the spotting scope and doing some scouting. I mean, I want to be in a stand. Don't get me wrong. I want to be in a stand. I want to give myself a chance, but I don't want to do more damage, because when we walked it, it's been a few video casts since we've got a chance to talk about Missouri, but when we went down there last, as soon as we stepped foot on the property, we bumped a pretty nice buck up.
Yeah, he's right underneath the stand too, which is good, but if you try to go in there and you do that early season, you might just screw your whole opportunity for the whole season at him.
For sure, and my property doesn't have a ton of timber, and if they're living on my property, or even a shooter buck could be potentially living on my property, the last thing I want to do is just go walk across the center of it because he'll find somewhere else to live quicker than I can figure out what the heck he's doing,
I mean, if you bump him off, he'll probably come over to me, but, no.
I do want to talk about that aspect of Missouri a little bit for anyone who doesn't know. I think we talked about it in our vlog and stuff like that you got permission from one of my neighbors down in my Missouri lease, so you and I get to go to Missouri together and camp and hunt. So
yeah, no, that was kind of we really wanted to get down there and hunt, but then once you got to look at your property, there's really only a few stand locations, so we kind of figured that, come rut time when you're out there burning it every day, it would take nothing to blow out that property, and the next thing you know, no one's filling a tag. Right. So we went down there and actually went down the road, knocked on first door, somehow been a lockup, met Chris down there, and they've been nothing but humbling to us basically. When we went down there and scouted or went and checked stuff that one week, and they cooked us full course meals, let us stay at the house. It was just it was unbelievable. It just Southern hospitality is what you can say.
Yeah, definitely, and that's nowhere near what your expectations were. Just knocking on the door.
Yeah.
I mean, you're hoping for there's 10 acres somewhere down the road that no one touches that you can go sit on.
Yeah.
And, come to find out that Chris and his dad farm 1,700 plus acres of cattle farm.
Yeah, that's the first time I've ever been overwhelmed with the amount of property and deer. It's just...
Yeah, we drove around on a Ranger from sunup to sundown 2 days in a row, checking cameras, put some food plots in, and, we got to set up down there, man.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see how it's gonna be, with having someone down there too, and being that it's 9 hours for me, 10 for you probably, and someone down there to be able to keep intel and keep an eye on things, and it's been really nice. He's texts me pictures, and when he checks the cameras, how's this food plot doing?
Right.
It's real nice to have someone down there doing all that stuff, and I'm excited to see how the season's gonna unfold. And,
me too. The one really cool aspect about that, like you were saying, having somebody down there is Well, I had my piece that I don't know any of the neighbors, and I don't know what's going on. I don't know anything about the property, the area, anything. And all of a sudden, we meet somebody that has lived there their whole life, hunted there their whole life, know everything about the caliber of deer that's in the area, what to expect, when are the good dates. I mean, this was just like an open book for intel for us, you know. And not to mention, he owns property that touches my property. So I went from having maybe 1.5 spots that I could come in to, I can come in from every side of my property now. I have 4 access points on my land now because
he pretty much owns the 3 other boundaries and the other one's the road. So
right. So I mean, it made it that much easier for me to access my property and to exchange intel. I mean, he had a food plot really close to my property, so I mean that kind of sucks at the same time. But it was cool though, I guess, for sharing trail cam data. There's bucks here, there's bucks here. They're moving back and forth, and
it's pretty much every buck that you had on camera, he had a picture of too. So
and it seemed like his were more daylight than mine, which that just means they're just getting to his food plot or his property just a little bit earlier than they're getting to mine probably.
Well, like we kind of figured too before we even met him or anything, that we figured that most of the deer for your property were actually betting on his for the majority of it, and he pretty much confirmed that with us. And it's just, I feel like with getting to meet him and all the info and everything, it just made you 10 steps ahead of where you would have been coming into the season. So that was, real nice for you too.
It was, my optimistic level definitely went way up because you go from not knowing anything about it to being like, I'm rolling the dice. It's going to take me 2-3 years to really learn this property and learn everything. And, having Chris and all that and him, showing me all these things and being able to exchange trail cam data, like I said, it just made it that much easier on me. It made me feel like that much more optimistic going into this season. Yeah. Like I didn't really have that high of hopes because I didn't know what to expect. I always expect going into a new lease or a new piece of property that it's going to take me multiple years to learn that piece of land. Yeah. I don't care how good of a deer hunter you are, how educated you are on land geography. Deer move in weird spots and they do weird things. And it takes multiple years to really learn why a deer herd's doing a certain thing on a certain day. And,
Yeah, I figured anytime I've come into a property, it's keep me anywhere. It takes time. Definitely takes time. And, it's, I don't know. I'm excited for you.
Yeah, I'm excited you're going to be out there with me. That's awesome.
I mean, kind of hope that someone kills one this first trip, but then it'll also be kind of sad, too.
I know. Well, we got cameras. That's what we're doing it for. Yeah. If I kill, I'm filming you, and I'm sure you don't care the other way around. So that's one good thing. And another thing is my girlfriend, Lauren, she's planning on coming down for the end of the rut, catching the tail end of the rut, and potentially buying a tag and just rifle hunting. So if I punch a tag in September and I can't hunt until gun season, like she might be getting a bow tag going back out there with me.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
At least get her out there a little bit earlier, and we got to see it that there's plenty of decent deer around there. You definitely don't have a shortage in that, but after seeing what's around there, it actually I think my standards went up a little bit, to be honest.
Yeah.
He might shun me a little bit too if I shoot some of the ones, but
Yeah, I was nervous too. He had a pretty impressive track record of some big bucks. I think, I don't know, the 2 that he just had on his wall in his living room were 150 plus. Another one was like 170, pushing 180 or something.
Yeah, I think it was 178 or something like that.
I was like, boy, you're gonna be real mad when I pop a 135 off your neighboring property,
No, I mean, from the sounds of it, the rifle hunters do that pretty regular. Shoot some of the younger ones, so. No, we should be good, and like I said, he's been nothing but a nice dude, and I've talked to him pretty much every day since, and he's excited for us to go down there, and I'm excited to be down there, and hopefully, if everything works out too, I know he's on a couple really good deer too, and I offered up to film him, and maybe we get some of that footage too, and
that'd be really cool.
So we'll just have to see how the season plays out, and hopefully. We'll get a few deer killed on film down there at least. But.
Yeah, definitely for sure. So. I want to dig in just a tiny bit on Missouri as far as like deer and expectations. So, where do you put that bar for you coming into Missouri? Now that you know what's there, what you're hunting, like you understand everything now. The next trip down, we're going to hunt. You're gonna have a bow in your hand. I'm just curious where you're at. I just want to know. I'm just trying to pick your brain.
Honestly, I don't know. I can't tell you
You
till a
don't
deer
know?
walks in front of me. To be honest, it's you know how it is. It's just when you see that deer, you just know.
Yeah.
You know, I'd like to say, oh, I'm gonna wait out for a 140, or I'm gonna wait out for, you know, a 4 or 5 year old. That's just, if it's gonna trip my trigger, it's gonna trip my trigger type of thing. You know,
Right.
obviously, you know, knowing what is out there, I'm gonna try to hold out for, you know,
Right.
a better, more mature deer. But, you know, if it happens quick, you just, we'll see what ends up happening. Is all I gotta say. You know, I wish I could say, you know, oh, I'm gonna wait for a 170 or something,
No,
but
right.
that's not the case. You know.
Yeah, I was just kind of curious where you were. If you're the type of guy that's like, no, I'm not shooting anything smaller than 130, or if he gets me excited and he's a 125, like I'm shooting him and I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
Or I was just curious where you were
No,
coming into Missouri.
regardless, if I pull the trigger on, I'm gonna be happy with
That's
it.
good.
I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. I mean, I've had my fair share of deer where they were a little bit smaller than expected.
ground shrinkage.
Yeah, but you know, it's regardless. You know, I'm just thankful for the opportunity. Is basically what it boils down to. And,
Exactly.
you know, if I get that initial excitement, then that's why I do it. So
Right.
it really, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You know how big it is, but
Yeah, that might be deadly for me because I get too excited for every deer I see. No, I don't really have an inch size in mind as far as that. I mean, I think you and I are pretty similar on we want to shoot a mature deer. We don't want to kill a young deer. You want to kill something that's mature, and that's why we go down there. That's why we put in the food plots. We spend all the money on gas to go out there to hunt mature deer. If we wanted to shoot 6 points, we'd stay in Michigan.
which we'll still do, but
Yeah.
no.
I'm not sure. I don't want to shoot a 6 point, but
No,
Yeah.
you know, we're still gonna hunt here. I know you got a few good ones too, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out my game plan here. But Michigan is more for, I guess, the tradition, the enjoyment, the camaraderie.
Yep.
That's how I kind of look at it. Is if I kill a good deer here, it's just a bonus.
Yep.
Is what I kind of figure. You know, if I'm more so focusing my better deer to be killed in the other states, and
Right.
you know, I think that's kind of how you got to have it around here, just because those more mature deer are kind of far and few between, which it can happen. We've done it, but you know, I don't
Yep.
expect to do it year after year after year type thing. So.
Right. And it's kind of like a scenario thing, you know, if you're in Missouri and a deer comes in and you're like, oh, he might need another year. But if you're in Michigan and that same deer were to come in, and it's just like every single situation and scenario is so different.
Yeah.
You know, a time of year. Is it first day? Is it the last day? Is it early season, late season? Is he 120, 130? Are you in Michigan or are you in Missouri?
Yeah.
Because if you just take those 6 variables and mix them up, I bet you your answer is going to be different every single time.
Yeah, it is, and that's what a lot of people need to understand too. Is like, I think a lot of people get wrapped up in is, oh, that person, all they're doing is killing 170s type of thing. Da 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 da. I'll tell you right now, you're not gonna kill a 170 if there isn't 170 where you're hunting.
Right.
It's just not gonna happen. So that's really got to take into consideration what is actually around in your area, and you know, really, you know, make your realistic expectations based on that. That's
For sure.
what you really got to do, and you know, and that way you don't really have any expectations, and you're never gonna be disappointed. You're always gonna have fun. You're gonna enjoy it. You know, I know a lot of people kind of get down on, oh, I never see a good deer. Da da da. It's
Right.
like, well, you might be in an area that doesn't have that good
Right.
deer. And you know, if you're hunting in Michigan or wherever it may
They're far
be.
and few between.
Yeah. So I mean, that's like right now I'm looking at a deer that maybe I don't even know if he'd break 120, but he's a 4.5-year-old deer down in Kentucky. You know, it's to me down there I've realized that I can get the age structure or get that older class deer down there. As far as the size, there's really only been 2 deer that actually have had that really good size in my area at least. So I try to base it more so on what's in the area. If I'm
for sure. I mean, I think QDM is like target the top 10% or 15%, whatever it may be. So I mean, you can't target 180-inch deer where there's not a 180-inch deer. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of one of those things. You know, you're in Michigan and you might see one buck that's 3.5 the whole year.
Yeah.
Hunting very smart, hunting very hard, getting skunked for a week plus at a time, and it's just, you know what I mean? It's so hard to hunt, you know. But if you go into Missouri, you might see 130, 130, 130, and you're like, ooh, I might hold off for a 150 or 160.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So it's all in a scenario and where you are and that type of stuff. But it's crazy how our expectations changed in different states and different times of the year.
Oh yeah, it's that's like going to Iowa.
Yeah, right.
It's what are we gonna do? Go shoot a 120 in Iowa when you've been waiting 6 years for a tag? No, I'm gonna hold out for that 180 that's running around there. No,
yeah,
it's like I said, it's just really dependent on where you're at. And all those guys, either you go further east or further south, they really don't get that big a deer either. They may have a 6-year-old deer, but he's only 110 inches.
Right.
Really, just base your expectations around reality is basically what it boils down to.
For sure. And also, I know I keep going back to the trail camera thing, but if you're trying to tag one early season and you don't have him on camera, I mean, I would say the odds of getting him in front of you is pretty hard to do. Where I guess what I'm trying to say, I said that kind of weird, but Alex doesn't have any bucks that he wants to shoot right now, and he's going down there anyway.
Yeah.
But last year, Alex in Ohio also didn't have any bucks he wanted to shoot early season. So during the rut, I mean, you're pulling deer from everywhere. So if you do set your bar, up higher and you don't have that deer on camera, that doesn't mean you're not going to get a deer of that caliber at some point. It's just, are you willing to wait for it, I guess, is the question.
Yeah, that's the risk that are you willing to risk eating a tag is basically
exactly.
What it boils down to.
That was my point I was trying to get. I said that kind of goofy, but
that's really what it boils down to is, how bad do you really want to fill that tag is what it boils down to.
Are you willing to eat a tag?
Ooh, where? Ooh. What state?
I don't know. I'm just picking at you. I don't know.
No, I am. But at the same point too, it's, I'm not. If it's a respectable deer.
Yeah.
I haven't killed a bunch of 150s. I haven't killed any of those deer. Killed some respectable ones for sure, but I just have realistic expectations. I always look as you gotta build your way up the ladder type thing. So.
Yep, and I don't ever want it to get to the point to where it's my goal or my expectations are so high that I'm not enjoying it. You know what I mean? Like I want to always try to remind myself that I'm happy with whatever I shoot. I don't care if it's a 130 or 150 or all of a sudden fast forward 20 years, I've killed a bunch of 150s. I'm waiting for a 180. Yeah, it's just like.
Well, it's like that. I got that buck down in Kentucky. I call short tine 8. He asked me, "You gonna shoot him?" I said, I don't want to, but I will.
Right.
He's not, like I said, he'll be lucky if he breaks 120 inches, but at the same point, he's a 4-year-old. 4-year-olds in my eyes type of thing. And,
right.
He's not my top target buck, but if he walks in front of me, I don't care how big he is. He's old enough, right. Type of thing. It's just, the day that I get to a point where I'm like passing a 140 or I'm passing a 4-year-old.
Might be a while.
I just need to be slapped when I do that.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind this year in Missouri. If you pull anything, I'll be like, bro, what are you doing?
As I'll have Chris over my shoulder now.
Yeah.
No, he's pretty much leaving that right up to me from what it seems. And, he asked me on a couple of deer if I would shoot him or not. And I think he's pretty happy with the judgment that I'll be making down there. And regardless, it's, if I'm going to be happy with it, I'm going to be happy with it is what it boils down to.
And that's so important, dude. I mean, I think so many people need to hear that and need to remind themselves of that every day. Like, when you come down to pulling the trigger on a deer, I don't care what social media says, what anyone says. Like, it's about you and it's about the deer. And you pulled the trigger, you killed the deer. I mean, own it. Be happy with it no matter what it is. Small, big, tall, I don't care. Just be happy with it.
Exactly. Don't sit there and think like, I don't want to hear the excuses. Basically what it boils down to.
Exactly. I hate that.
It just be proud of it.
Right.
Like I've said, I've shot a few deer where I've had quite a bit of ground shrinkage on them, but guess what?
Right.
I was just thankful for the opportunity. Is what it boiled down to, and that's the way it's got. You got to look at it. Is don't let everyone sit there and judge you by something or whatever. Just be happy with what you're. If you're gonna pull a trigger, be happy with it. Show it off.
Exactly, and don't let other people to where you feel like you need to make excuses for the animal that you shot when you're perfectly happy, but it's other people that are making you feel like it's not as good. But
I don't care if you kill a spike this year. Send us a picture on one of our social media pages.
For sure.
And
we'll put it on the story definitely.
It's just something like that. That's one thing too. Is if you guys do end up killing anything during the fall, send them to us. Let us know. We'd love to see it.
Yeah.
You know.
Definitely. We love communicating with our viewers, and we can't thank you guys enough, because without the viewers, without the people liking these videos and sharing them and doing it, I mean, that's why we're doing it. Why do we carry cameras in the woods and film all these deer hunts and spend, hundreds and hundreds of hours behind a computer editing and trying to put this story together? It's for the viewers. That's what we're doing it for.
I'd like to say I love it, but some days I love it.
Some days you love it.
Some days I love it. Some days I just don't even want to carry that camera out, but I still do.
I know.
No, I do enjoy it quite a bit, though. It is when it all comes together. It's worth every second of it.
Yeah, it's one of the things that got me into filming my hunts was, my first time hunting out of state with a group of guys, and everyone comes back to camp, and that's the first thing they're excited to tell you is what they seen, what deer they seen, and I'm like, man, if I could just film these things, I'm filming with my phone or, taking a little crappy camera in the woods. And finally I'm like, man, this is a pretty big industry. Filming your hunts is a big deal. And finally got a camera arm, finally got a decent camera, and then fast forward 2-3 years, coming back to camp with those same guys that I've been doing this with for a few years. And I'm like showing them every single deer that I've seen. And it's just so awesome to get back to camp and to relive that excitement, to see those bucks that you just seen in the field and to get to watch them and analyze them. And you might see a buck for 5 seconds and you'll just convince yourself he was something else. You'll think he's a unicorn by the time you get back to camp. So getting to actually watch it and see it, and it's awesome. I would definitely recommend anyone who's ever considered filming their hunts, professionally, amateur, whatever it is, just it's awesome. It's cool to get to relive those exciting events and to see the deer.
Yeah, we do it because we love it, regardless. No matter what. There's, like I said, there's times where I don't want to carry all the camera gear out there, but we don't really do this. We wouldn't do this if we didn't love it, type of thing. And that's the only reason we are gonna do it.
Right. Yeah, we're definitely doing it for the right reasons. And if the Rise wasn't a thing, and I would still, like you said earlier in the year, I would still continue to film all my hunts because you like to relive the adventure. That's what it comes down to,
regardless if it's for myself, my buddies, whatever the case may be, or whoever. Right. It's sweet to be able to show them. And then when it does all come together, it's just like it makes every second, that dragging all that equipment up, setting it up every time, it just makes it all worth it in the end. And, when it finally all comes together for you.
Yeah, it's awesome for sure. How far are we into this thing? Looks like we got 36 minutes. Is that 16 or 36?
I can't tell you, but
I can't tell you. We've been talking for a while.
We got to be getting close. So
definitely want to give a shout out to one of our new sponsors. We've actually brought 2 new sponsors on since our last video cast. 2 new sponsors. Crazy. Big things happening behind the scenes at The Rise. We're super stoked. Okay, sorry. I wasn't trying to brag. But one of them is Redneck Blinds, and we were stoked about that. To partner with a company like Redneck, just make some really, really quality blinds, soft shell, hard shell, hay bale blinds. I mean, they kind of, drew the line right there in the hunting industry for hunting blinds.
Yeah, there's a lot of them out there like them now, but they're still by far the best blinds out there, I think, as far from what I've seen.
Definitely.
And they were the originator of it, type of thing. And I know you got a couple of the soft-sided blinds, and then I got a hay bale blind set up down there in Missouri over a nice lush green food plus.
That's
and
awesome.
next to some corn. So I'm excited to hunt out of that. I know you're excited to hunt out of yours. You thought you'll probably be filming out of it, won't you?
Yeah, definitely. And as well as myself, and I think Ryan and Don Skornica have, I don't even know, 4 or 5 redneck gillies on 10-foot platforms. So, but just between the 4 or 5 of us, we probably got 20 plus of these blinds, and we've been using these products prior to this partnership. Yeah. And that's one of the things here we do at The Rise is we target sponsors or partnerships for products that we actually really care about and things that we actually do like. Yeah. If these blinds were junk, I wouldn't use them. That's what it comes down to is like we've been using them and they're awesome. And now to partner with them, it just makes me so happy. You know what I mean? Cause,
it's just products that we truly do believe in and that we would use regardless, that we do use regardless type of thing.
Right. Exactly. Next sponsor that we just brought on is Deer Grow. And that is a fertilizer?
Yes, fertilizer, plot boost, and lime. They got a couple products for out there, liquid products for food plots and whatnot, and we just started using them. I know Alex sprayed his plot last weekend. I sprayed mine down in Kentucky.
I did one in Michigan with
Yeah,
it.
you did one in Michigan, so really excited to see what the results come of that. And I wish we would have had them before season started,
Yeah,
before
I
food
know.
plot season started. But
Yeah,
nonetheless, we're excited to see what the future with those guys, and I can't wait to see how them food plots look. Actually, probably this week, and I'm just from week to week. I'm curious to see what it actually does, and I've heard nothing but great things about those guys. So hopefully, hopefully we can keep the business going with them.
definitely. A lot of people who don't know this, that are doing food plots and spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on granular fertilizer every single year. I mean, you can spend. I would say less than a quarter of the money on liquid fertilizer. I mean, the cost factor alone, just how much cheaper it is to go liquid, crazy.
Well, perfect example is I spent over $100 in just lime for our Kentucky food plots, when I could have bought one of those gallon jugs or 2-gallon jugs for $40. Or I don't know what they are exactly going for, but that jug itself would have done more than my $100 worth of lime that I paid for. So it's
Exactly.
that's really next year. That's all I'm doing is liquid stuff, I believe,
Same here.
and it's it's a lot easier, especially when you're spreading. You're not having to sit there and spread it by hand or anything like that. Just go out there.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty convenient for sure. I sprayed the one 1 acre plot or whatever it may be at my farm, I don't know, a few weeks ago, and I'm staying out of there for the whole month of September, and I got the cell camera out there, and I swear every time I get a cell camera, it's like growing 6 inches, 6 inches. I'm just like, dang, that fertilizer worked, man. So other sponsors, Badlands Packs, can't say enough about those guys. So all 5 of us have been running Badlands last couple years. I think this is your first full year. First full year with Badlands, but just awesome products. They just dropped a new pack last Monday, I believe it was. Is their new Vario system.
Yeah.
It's got the meat shelf locker or whatever that was called. I probably should know more about that, but I don't do much elk cutting.
I tell you what, if I was heading out west, that'd be the pack I'd be buying.
Yeah.
It's just, you can literally go from a day pack to just a straight meat pack or meat frame pack. There's so many different variables with that pack, and it's that good for the all around packs, basically what it's built for. And
and to my knowledge, you can even take a pack that you already have from Badlands and put it right on the frame so that's cool too. You can kind of mix and match and build your own pack system there. Yeah. And Blake was saying that already has became their new bestseller on their website. So
I believe it.
Yeah,
I believe it, and I know a lot. Actually, I had one of the buddies, I can't remember if he just got one or not. He's out in Nebraska right now, I believe. Okay. And so I'll be curious to see how that worked out for him when he gets back from there, and just from personal reference from someone that we know. Yeah. But no, that's
good stuff.
Yeah. So
not last one, but Expedition Archery. Got it on your tee.
Yes.
You're repping, bro. I love it.
How's your bow shooting?
I love it, dude. I shoot my bow nonstop, and honestly, I don't know if I've ever been this comfortable with my own bow and my own equipment ever hunting archery. And I'm not joking. Like, for the first time ever, I would say some of it is definitely my sight, having that adjustable sight to reach out to 100, but just being able to have my target sitting on my motocross track 90 yards from my house and, just shoot a couple at 90, and I'm grouping like on my little square target at 90. Yeah. Well, that's never even been an option with my other bows. And I think a lot of that, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of things about the bow that I like a lot, but one thing is just so smooth, draw so smooth, anchor so smooth. Like, I've had bows with jumpy cams. I've had bows that when you shoot them, they feel like a shotgun went off. This thing is just so still, dude. When I'm holding at 90, it's like I'm shooting at 15 yards.
Well, that's why I've been working at the bow shop, and I got to shoot every bow that I work on afterwards. And I never realized like how good these bows really awesome, are dude. Until I shoot some of the other ones. I'm like, wow. Yeah. But no, I'm so confident with mine. I think I'm gonna take a round shot this year.
Yeah.
No, that thing is shooting good, and that Mako's screaming too. So
that's awesome, man. Those bows are so fast. That's something crazy to me. Like, my bow's shooting like 305 feet per second or 304 feet per second.
I've never been anywhere close to 300, and I think. Like, I usually like 285 or something like that. I think I'm at 303 now or something.
That's wicked fast.
It's like I'm shooting a heavy arrow too. I've always been shooting a heavy arrow, so I've been slower. But with that Mako able to catch up with the speed, and
That's cool.
Just makes it flatter shooting and out to a little bit longer distance better. But I'm excited. I'm ready to get that thing bloody again. After turkey season, I got those 2 birds with it, and now I'm ready to put some deer down with it.
That's awesome for sure. I can't wait. And anyone who is interested in checking those out, find your local expedition dealer, get in there, shoot one. You will not be disappointed. Last one is Huntwise.
Yes.
Love it. Huntwise is sick, dude. It's my favorite. I'm on there so much. I spend so much time drawing food plots and putting stands and blinds and checking ideal wind, the wind for this spot. And they also have a hunt predictor, which is just like an algorithm in there that's based off weather, biometric pressure, that type of stuff. So if you're trying to pick, a few days out, which day should I go hunt? It's got that algorithm in there that's automatically going to predict the pressure, the weather, all those things. If you're going to take one day off work that week, you can look at that hunt predictor there and be like, oh, well, I'll take it off Wednesday. Obviously, there's a cold front coming through, the pressure's through the roof. It does that equation for you. That's a really cool feature.
Yeah, no, it's they're way ahead of the game as far as I'm concerned. It's, with that, even with the 3D mapping and everything. Yep. I've just been playing on it all for the last month, putting all my pens in Missouri. No, it's I'm excited for that. With those guys, what they got to come to, especially like I said, they're ahead of the game. Yeah,
they are. They in my eyes, I feel like they got everybody beat right now with the amount of things that one app does.
Yeah.
It does what you'd have to have 5 other apps to do this one thing. You know what I mean? You literally need 5 apps to compete with Huntwise.
Yeah.
It's doing that many things. I mean, literally, I think they have a shop on there. You can buy products now. I'm like, man, they just keep adding and adding and adding, and it's not too much. It's all clean. It's all organized. It's all accessible. It's an awesome app. Download it on the App Store. What is it? I don't even know the Android one. What's the Android App Store? Whatever it is. If you got an Android, I feel bad for you. I'm not sure what the App Store is, but
I'm sure you can figure it out one way or another. Google it.
For sure. Huntwise.com. What other sponsors we got? Do we list all of them? Are we missing one?
Back 40.
Did I just forget Back 40?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Brennan. I love you, bro. He just ordered up some rednecks. I think he ordered a bunch of them, actually.
Did
he? Yeah, he was telling me about that. He's got a pretty sweet Michigan farm. You see that buck he's hunting? Dude, he's on a giant Michigan. Giant. Slammer.
Does he need a new best friend?
He does. I'm going to come hunt that with you, bro, whenever. Just let me know. Give me a call.
Yeah.
But Back 40 buck calls are awesome. That's Brennan's company, and they're awesome, man. I used them down in Ohio last year, and we used them turkey hunting. You killed 2 birds, calling them in with the turkey call, and they're made in Michigan in the USA, and they're awesome products. They got like a nice stain on them, made out of wood. You know what I mean? Like,
I haven't been able to use one of those grunt calls yet, but I'm excited for come November.
They're sweet. They're sweet, man. It's deep. Alex hit the grunt in Ohio last year, and you saw what happened. 150-inch buck hit the dirt. So, if you're gonna go buy a new buck call this year, just jump on back40buckcalls.com and go buy one. You won't be disappointed. You'll be a lot happier with something made in the United States, made in Michigan, that somebody handcrafted, took the time to make a nice call. You know what I mean? If you're gonna go buy a mass-produced one from China, well, why not buy a Back 40?
Yeah, they're about the same price too, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, dude. Like, he's very, very reasonable. Yeah. So. Very cool. We're going to wrap this up. I know this was, I don't even know how long we are. I can't even see the camera anymore, but we rambled a bunch, and I don't even know what we talked about.
All I know is that when they see this, I've already been hunting.
You already been hunting?
Yeah.
Oh, so this is dropping Monday, and this weekend you'll be in a stand.
Yes.
So there's a chance there's a dead buck in your truck right now.
Not right now, but Saturday.
No, when people are watching this video, technically right now.
Possibly.
So that's cool.
Hopefully.
Well, I appreciate you guys watching our videocast series this year. It really means a lot to us. Hit that like button, subscribe if it's on Facebook, like it, share it, whatever you got to do. We really appreciate it. And we really want to hype up our segment series that's launching this year. It's October 2nd, I believe. 2nd or 3rd? 2nd.
Somewhere around there.
October 2nd. So that is all 5 of us, our 5 guys that are part of the Rise Hunt, traveling the Midwest. We're all over, hunting 4 or 5 different states. And we're basically taking you along with us on that journey. We are filming all of our hunts, documenting everything that's happened, real. Like, we are not a filtered production company. You're going to see it how it happens, and we're going to take you along for the journey, and we're going to do our best to show it to the viewer and get it out as quick as possible. So you're going to see what's happening real time over the Midwest, hunting whitetails, and should be a fun season. I'm very excited. This is our 2nd season of our segment series, and I'm very excited. So
It's gonna be a fun year.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a real fun year with everyone, and make sure to follow all the social medias too. See it live basically as it's happening, hopefully. And I know we'll be blowing up the stories this weekend in Kentucky, me and Alex. So
definitely.
it's gonna be fun.
Cool, man.
Right.
We'll look out for that video. Good luck in Kentucky. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks.